Hello and welcome again to episode 3 of Coupon Busters. Very excited to be joined by the guest tonight because the World Cups don't really start unless you get three things. You get Brazil playing, which we've had. You get a shock late goal, which we got with Qatar scoring against Switzerland. And the third thing that we need, especially in England, is when you see one of the most recognisable faces appearing in the crowd during an England game. And on Wednesday night, millions of fans, just like myself, will be looking out for that hat trick moment. But tonight we're getting it early with the pleasure of the legendary World Cup guy himself, Andy Milne. Andy, how are you doing?
Hi, Martin. Thanks for having me on. Doing very well. Really enjoying the football. We just watched the Spain Cape Verde match. What an incredible game that was! The tension towards the end of the match was something else. Best 0-0 I've ever seen, I think.
Yeah, I mean, what a perfect advert for everything as well. The passion of the Cape Verde fans. I mean, we had it with I'm in England, obviously. I know you're in the States at the moment. On ITV, they kept showing clips of the bars with Cape Verde fans and obviously ones in the crowd. The atmosphere looked incredible for them. They're just celebrating the way through. That's what the World Cup's about.
Yeah, they've got some really good venues for watching the football here. The bar culture in kind of much of Dallas is that it's very spread out and you have to drive distances to get to a bar. So we're spending quite a bit of money on Ubers to get there. But once you get there, there are some mega venues with bars inside bars, huge screens, like 100-foot TV screens, and loads of loads of fans there. You probably saw loads of the Dutch on telly dancing away yesterday. So yeah, it's been really good.
That's amazing. Well, before we jump into your book, how have you settled in? Obviously, you mentioned when did you make it over to America? It was last week, was it?
I came here for the England friendlies.
Right.
So I've been here nearly 2 weeks now.
Wow.
The friendlies were fun. Really good atmosphere amongst the England fans. We got through both of those with wins, with no players getting injured,
Mm.
acclimatizing to the heat because it was hot and warm down there in Florida. So overall, I thought it was it was a very successful opening to the campaign.
Yeah, it's really exciting. Obviously, for us England fans, it starts on Wednesday. But to start off with, we're here because you've written an amazing book about all your journeys to traveling to World Cups over many years since the year I was born in 1982 when you were at university. Obviously that is an incredible story to read. I mean, anyone who knows, especially the last few World Cups, the cameramen have always found you, and I know it's become a bit of a media persona on top of your normal life, where memes have been made, photos have been made, front covers of newspapers. You've become very infamous with fellow England fans, but your book is amazing. It's a fantastic read. I recommend it to every single person that listens to this and anyone who knows you, because it's a wonderful journey about what it's like for you to be so resourceful and find ways to travel to this incredible football tournament that is the World Cup. What was that like for you to reflect on and start thinking back to all those journeys you've had and the changes in your life during that time as well?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed writing the book. Lots of people, especially after Qatar, when, like you say, my face was just memed, if that's a word, around the world. Lots of people were saying you should write it up. You should write it up. You know, you've been to 9 World Cups. You should tell people about it. There must be some stories in there. And I was thinking, well, there are. There are a lot of great stories in there. So yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying it, and you'll be well aware, having read it now, that it's not just a catalogue of football matches. It's basically a journey, isn't it? It's a journey through time, and it's a journey through different countries. It's a journey through my life, my World Cup experiences, and it's about the people you meet, really rich and varied individuals from all over the world, some of whom have become friends for life. Um, every single nation that hosts a World Cup are desperate for you to think it's the best World Cup, so they put on a show and they do their best. Like I'm here with my mate Stu, and we've been bought drink after drink after drink by the Texans over here. We've been offered places to sleep. We've just been shown great hospitality already, and I know it's going to continue.
Incredible. It's amazing. As I said, I love the story. I think it's like you mentioned, it's not about necessarily even about the football. You obviously talk about it and what happens in those games, but it is about what life is like as a fan traveling to these events and figuring how to get to matches, the queuing you did in Spain in '82, and I say I don't want to spoil the insight of the book because that's what people will need to read. But I obviously, like I mentioned before we started recording, that the only World Cup I've ever travelled to was in 2006 when I went camping with a good friend of mine, Neil. We went from university together. We went to camping in right near Baden-Baden, and we had an amazing time. We had the pleasure of the campsite. We had Dave Pearce DJing and big screens on, and it was a really good fun event. But so I loved jumping to that chapter when I got to it. And yeah, without going into too much detail, your random meeting with Badil and Skinner, absolute legends that they are. What a lovely story
Yeah,
that was.
yeah. I've always wanted to meet up with them again, and I wonder if they. I guess now it's getting a bit long after the event, isn't it? 20 years later, but I'm sure that they'd have remembered it for quite a while because, well, especially Skinner. He was Frank's. He was. He was absolutely gobsmacked that four Englishmen had travelled all that way without tickets, and here we were outside the VIP entrance trying to blag our way in. We had a lovely chat for quite a while outside there. Yeah, good.
Amazing. That's it. Really took me, and that's what's incredible about the book for anyone. Like you get those moments throughout it that you just don't expect. They're very unexpected reactions to people. Sometimes famous people like Dylan Skinner. Most of the time, just very nice, happy people that are welcome into their culture or their city and fans of different teams. And that's what's so beautiful
Yeah.
about all the different chapters. And also it's a journey through time because it's every 4 years or even slightly longer with a couple of them, and the world has changed but everyone unites for football, so it's such a beautiful read for those reasons. I mean, obviously, as I say, Germany 2006, a lot of great memories for me, so I couldn't wait to read that. Quite curious to how you're comparing those journeys that you've been on to what you think's coming for the next few weeks. You've had some great highs with England. Your first World Cup, Brian Robson scoring that great goal so quickly. Um, how excited are you for things to start on Wednesday and your hopes for England?
Yeah, um, desperate to start. We're in Group L. We're in the last group, not quite the last match, but right down towards the end. So we're enjoying the other football, building up to it. I think we've got a great chance, but I think this first match, uh, this will dictate a lot of how well we do in this World Cup. If we um, if we were to lose or draw this game, then we would probably, I think, end up second in the group. If we end up second in the group, then we're going to be in a quarter of the draw with probably, and maybe after today's game, Spain, Argentina, and Portugal, and that's not an easy quarter to draw. So if we win, potentially we're in a much easier draw, and also we go to Mexico, and I would really like to go and watch England in the Azteca in Mexico. That would be phenomenal.
Yeah, I think that would be the ultimate dream, wouldn't it, come true for yourself and for all those places you've been to tick that one off the list. That
Yeah,
would be sensational.
yeah. I didn't get there last time. That was far. 1986 was far too far away for me as a young. So yeah,
Yeah, well, I think that's the beauty of it, though. If you could get to that game, if it does work out and England play in Mexico, it's almost making up for that '86 where you were watching it as a young adult growing up. Still, you
yeah,
can still do it and achieve it, which is incredible. What I didn't realise, obviously, until I started reading this book, is your love of Manchester United and going to watch them. And obviously, I won't say what happened to your autograph book with many Man United legends in there, but in terms of experience and seeing Brian Robson. Obviously, I know he'd been at West Brom and then came to Man United afterwards. But you obviously mentioned Bobby Charlton in the book. Um, are you excited for Kobbie Mainoo? And I know Rashford's potentially leaving Man United, but we've got a couple of players there. Are you still excited about Man United players in this tournament?
yeah. I'm really excited. I think Kobbie Mainoo's a fantastic talent. I don't think he'll start. I think Anderson will start, and I'm sure Rice will start. But I think that Kobbie Mainoo will play a part in here, and really looking forward to seeing him. I'm gutted that Harry Maguire's not there.
Mm.
And Luke Shaw as well. To be honest, I thought they both had great seasons. This year, we're the most successful team in the Premier League by some shot. We've also got the tightest defence in the Premier League this year since Christmas. Um, and a big part of that is down to those two, especially Harry Maguire, who's had to play with three other central defensive partners. He previously he was forced to play in a system that just doesn't suit him again and again and again. But um, since Christmas, he's been. I don't know. I haven't seen the votes, but I'm absolutely sure that Bruno Fernandes will be Player of the Year, Manchester United. But I wouldn't be surprised if Harry Maguire doesn't come second on the list.
Yeah, I'd second that as well. I think he had a fantastic season, especially the second half of the year, second half of the season when Carrick came in and everything changed. He was a real
Yeah,
leader for us as well. But it's very sad that he's not there. I think it would have been lovely to have one more tournament in him, but you never know. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we do well. We do well without him. Um, in terms of I mentioned Brian Robson because, as I said, I don't want to spoil things in your book, but there's a brilliant chapter about Brian Robson, and that's all I'll say. It is a phenomenal chapter in your book about Brian Robson. I won't say anything else. If people have seen it, they'll know what I mean and read it. Then they can comment on this because they'll know why it's such a great chapter. But we won't. We'll leave it there.
yeah,
Your article in the Observer as well that came out after your World Cup, 'cause it's quite an interesting summer for you as a youngster. Um,
yeah.
that obviously is come full circle because of your recognizable fame now with obviously newspapers, as I say, using your face during Qatar and people creating things. That's led to some amazing stuff this summer where you're in a Sports Direct advert and you're in the music video for the Half Timers band, which is a song that hopefully will
Yeah.
pick up pace as we go along. What were those experiences like for you?
I've honestly, it's gone crazy. I'm in 7 major adverts campaigns at the moment, and quite taking on quite a few other small ones as well. So I did the Skechers ad, but I didn't make the cut. You can, even if you know where I am, you can't see me. I don't think it's
Okay.
so. In that advert, I'm watching Jamie Redknapp and Frank Leboeuf play table football. In fact, they're only on for a split second. They're hardly used. So I've done that. I've done Hilton hotels. Hilton have given me free accommodation over here for the whole tournament, which is fantastic. And I've done what else have I done? Betfair, Sports Direct, Viagogo, Lidl Supermarket. That's a fun one. Did that. So, yeah, yeah. Apologies whoever I've forgotten there. But yeah. So my friend Stu and I went out to see a gig here on 2 nights ago. Singer called Ian Moore, really, really good. He's kind of like Texan indie, I would say, something like that. Very quirky little theatre. And I was doing some content. I was doing the little Vox Box interviews outside, and she was filming me. And I thought, look, this would be quite good if I'm on the zebra crossing outside, and I'll stand there. So I stood on the zebra crossing on the side road, and a car came by, and then it screeched on his brake and turned right round next to us. And I thought, oh, we're going to be done for jaywalking. I'm going to start. The copper jumped out, and he said, "Are you the World Cup guy?"
That's amazing.
and, then, and then, do you mind if I take a selfie? So yeah, so we had selfies with this cop there.
That's incredible. What another great experience. That's the thing. Your book's going to keep needing to grow because all the different new chapters you're going to have to add to it with the tournament this year. You're
Yeah,
going to have to do a new
I
edition.
think. Well, if England win it, there might be a whole new book in it.
Yes, yeah, hopefully so. And that, fingers crossed that actually happens as well, because that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
What was it? I was quite curious about the Half Timers music video. I don't know if you've had a chance to see it properly yet or not. I saw it last week a couple of times. I think that song could end up growing over the summer and be a little bit popular. And obviously, Three Lions is probably still number one and World in Motion. But uh, what was it like being in the music video for that? And what do you think of that song's chances of being a bit of a hit over the summer?
That was fun. I had quite a lot of things on that day, so I was really stretched to actually get to the shoot. So see, like I should have been sat down with Tango around the table and having the beers, but at least I made it there in time for the end. I really like it. It's catchy, isn't it? It's a good tune. It's a real grow, and once you start singing it, you can't stop singing it.
Yeah,
So
it's got a brilliant repetitive song line that I think will just stay in your head, and it's a good little comment as well, isn't it? So yeah, it'll be
yeah,
fun for the summer. As I said, I really appreciate the fact that I've got the chance to speak to you about it all because I think it's a really unique take on what it's like to go to World Cups. I don't want to question too much about the negative side to dynamic pricing, but one thing, if people were thinking about going over to the States to get to games or even for a future World Cup, one great thing they can learn about from reading your journey is the resourcefulness of you can get tickets and you can get to games if you plan your travel and plan to get out there. There are opportunities to get tickets along the way. You just need a little bit of luck and to keep your brain working and go towards it. Um, Out of your memories of queuing for tickets or getting tickets, what was your favourite experience of randomly getting a ticket that you probably shouldn't have got really?
I, there are quite a few, but I guess it's if we're talking about the World Cup, then it's going to have to be the 1998 final. Have you got onto the France yet? The chapter.
Yes.
So outside the ground, we just didn't have tickets, and it's France playing at home to Brazil. And if there's one match it's going to be hard to get into, a World Cup final, then France at home against Brazil was that. So we tried sort of where the fans were, where the main entrances were, and it was obviously going to be an impossibility. There were just huge numbers of people there. So I went around the back to where the reporters were, and there were a lot of reporters going into that ground with two lanyards on, two photo IDs around their neck. And I thought, why have you got two? And it transpired that many of the reporters had an entrance that, the lanyard got you in, and the other one got you into the press hospitality. So it's a hospitality one, but they look pretty similar. And I thought, if somebody gives me a hospitality pass, then I stand a good chance of being able to just walk past into the ground. And in those days, there's no QR codes, there's no scanning, there's no barcodes, there's no chip and pin. You just showed it. And sure enough, this Romanian guy gave me his pass and just breezed past him. And not only was I into the that World Cup final for 50 quid, but I also had a pass to free food and drink for the whole match. It was couldn't have worked out any better.
No, it's genius. Honestly, and I think what's incredible is it's the pure luck that you got from you've earned it as well. You'd worked really hard to get to these moments and figuring things out. It wasn't like someone just walks by and passes you to it. You're positioning yourself in these places and you've gone on these journeys and all makes up for what happened in with your rucksack in '82. I reckon. I think it's the gift of the gods coming back to you on that one. What advice would you give to fans for if they are traveling over or haven't got tickets and they've travelled over to the States? What advice have you got? Who could you give them if they're thinking of maybe keeping an eye on maybe last minute tickets on maybe the pricing might go down or people might have them available?
Yeah, I think of the advice that I would give is try and plan ahead. When you get to the country, immerse yourself in the culture, talk to the locals, eat the local food, dine at local restaurants, and the local populace will embrace you, take you in, and have such a great journey.
Yeah, wonderful. That's great advice. Have you got looking back, obviously, because you had the chance to obviously reflect on all of these journeys. Have you got a favourite country you ate in during the World Cups?
That I ate in.
Yeah, what's your
Um,
favourite food place?
really enjoyed the food in Mexico. They do this thing called a churrasco, which is basically just 2 foot of different meat,
Wow.
chicken, beef, sausage, all that, and they grill it there, and then they sprinkle this. It's kind of I think it's made with cassava, and it's like a ground flour, but it's crispy, so it gives it a bit of texture. So they just sprinkle a bit of that on, and that's it. That's as close as it gets to having a bit of bread or whatever with it. A little bit of crispy on the outside. Yeah, that was nice.
That sounds really tasty. Well, hopefully, fingers crossed, you get that again in a few weeks when you pop back over there for an England game.
Yeah.
I'm so curious as well because obviously you had an amazing career working as a teacher, working in education. What's it like when you're in those classrooms building up to a big summer tournament? I know obviously you were most of the time planning ways to creatively get away and go to a tournament, but that excitement,
Yeah.
what was it like when you're around all the kids building up to an England tournament?
Well, I used to pop up on the telly before I was known for it. So the school kids would, be like, "Oh, there you are, sir. There you are in Brazil, or there you are in South Africa." So they get on board with it. That was fine. But I did plan quite a few expeditions to countries where the World Cup was, so that the expedition would arrive and I would join them after having seen the World Cup, which would pay for my journey home. That was
Yeah, that's
good.
amazing.
But they were great expeditions. We had an incredible safari and diving trip to South Africa in 2010, and we didn't go to Brazil. We went to Mexico, and that was a fantastic trip as well. Again, with diving and staying in the jungle working with scientists there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it all tied in with the World Cup.
Ah, that's lovely. What a great experience for people. And you mentioned with 90 going hiking in Italy and 89 and things like that, and then learning the language. What a great
Yeah.
experience for, for the people who read that to understand, maybe do that and follow suit, because you'll learn so much more about the culture if you take elements in before you travel somewhere.
Yeah, it definitely does. And the world was a much smaller place when I was younger. People didn't go abroad.
Mm.
So the first time I ever went abroad was when I hitchhiked over to Spain to watch the World Cup in '82. It was a huge adventure for me. And English, I think, is much more widely spoken nowadays. So traveling is easier than it used to be. So yeah, it does help to learn. You should always learn to say please and thank you. Well, it's a lot. Hello,
Yeah.
4 beers.
Yeah, almost all the wine of choice from your early World Cup years.
Yeah,
Well, no, it's amazing. As I say, I think it's a fantastic read, and people that they'll recognise you. As I say, it's part of the thing for me is one of the things you look out for nowadays with the World Cup is your face on here. Andy Milnes, the World Cup guidebook is available now. It's Pitch Publishing. Yes, Pitch Publishing,
yeah,
and it's available on Amazon and Waterstones and all those sort of likes. But
yeah,
it's a great reflection on what it's like to be an England fan and what it's like to actually travel and support the nation and taking the experiences. I'd say the only thing I'd say I can come close to is 2006, meeting a lot of fellow fans and even in airports and everything, and people being
yeah,
wanting to talk football with you and wanting to learn about what you think about your nation. I mean, ironically, in 2006, I met some Italian fans, and they were like, "Oh, England are going to win it this year," because we were flying home before one of the knockouts. I was like, "What?" And they were like, they really were negative about their nation, and obviously they go on to win it that summer. And so I remember emailing them afterwards, going, I thought you were a really bad side. You're telling me how terrible you were, and you've won it." And I think that's the beauty of some of your stories as well, is the people you've met and the kindness from you and from them across all those years.
yeah. Sure. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, I wish you well with the rest of the World Cup journey, and I
Yep.
look forward to hopefully, fingers crossed, seeing a revamped edition with a USA 2026 victory for England.
Yeah, that would be great, wouldn't it? That'd be a better selling edition, I think. So yeah,
It'll be up there.
thanks for having me.
It's a real pleasure. Thanks very much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.